Welcome in, everyone. That's a tap with CTDJ. We're here to react to the huge heavyweight fight between Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou. Man, I am still close to speechless, DJ. What a performance, man. Talk me through
Yeah,
it.
CT, how are you, man? Like, what a start to our Saturday. Yeah, crazy, man. You're right. Like, I'm still. The whole sequence is just running through my head. How quick that main event was. How dominant, how one-sided it was, and sort of, what we were expecting. Man, I mean, look, in hindsight, and we've spoken about this behind the screens, is that we gotta understand that Ngannou is fighting. He fought one of the top tier guys in Fury, and then now he's fighting arguably an equally strong high level guy in Joshua. And now, obviously, the arguments and the conversations, the debate's going to be rife with who's the better boxer, Fury, Joshua, etc., whatever it is. But look, today was about Joshua and Ngannou. The fight ended with a second round knockout, not even a TKO, not the count, nothing, knocked out cold. A sight that we didn't think that we'd ever see Francis Ngannou succumb to. Um, but it's the nature of the beast, man. You're going into a different sport, and you're going to go challenge one of the best in that sport, and this can be expected. In our expectations, in my prediction, I said, look, I'm expecting Joshua to win. But did I expect it to be this one-sided, this dominant, and this quick? No. I did think there will be a lot of confidence that Ngannou would have drawn from Fury at the Fury fight, and he could prolong the fight. I'll tell you what surprised me. I mean, look, this probably draws from that confidence he has with having fought. Um, Again, a combination of things, right? Having fought Fury, having had that much of success, knowing also that his best chance for Francis Ngannou that is to sort of try and get Joshua out in the first round or the first few rounds or early in the fight, and that's obviously what he was trying to do. It was obvious. Um, Now more than ever, it probably gets you to start thinking: did Tyson Fury actually have an off night? We never know, right? Nonetheless, again, goes into this fight. When he came out in the first round, here's some of the things that I noticed, and I was like, wow. One is stance. It was very good. It didn't seem like he was in his second boxing pro fight. And even the commentators made note of that. His confidence, his aggression, his forward pressure. Joshua was biding his time, and I remember thinking, okay, well, Fury, sorry, Ngannou's being, really aggressive. I expected him to, stay back a bit and get his timing, see how Joshua sort of test his power. Try and understand his game plan, but I didn't see none of that. It was just, he was trying to get him out of there. But man, Joshua was measured. I mean, this is where experience speaks, right? Like, he looked like a man on a mission the whole week, and we speak about this countless times. Anthony Joshua does not play boxing. He's always very serious about, the game, the sport, and come fight week, he shows the utmost respect to his opponents. He always has and always will, I reckon. But it's just more. It's very business-like, right? There is that stone cold killer mentality that you see in him and in his gaze, in his demeanor, and that was obvious this fight week as well. And he came out and he did what he was supposed to do, and I think this puts a big. Sort of not a big, but a somewhat shroud on Tyson Fury as well, because Tyson Fury fought Ngannou, and that comparison will always be made. Although you can argue, prior to this, we did not know Ngannou the boxer, but now, Joshua knew going into this fight what sort of to expect. We saw Tyson Fury, give Joshua his flowers. They're calling for that fight next for the unified, well, the winner of Usyk and Fury. Man, sign me up. I'm excited. Um, Look, I've always liked Joshua. I was always a fan of Joshua. I know there was this kid, and he got some unwarranted hate. Things happen, right? And I feel like he did get lost a little bit, cycled through some trainers, but now he's gone to Ben Davison, and I think they've got a good camp going there. And look, man, I feel this is the best Anthony Joshua that we're seeing, and he is actually come to his peak, and he's coming into that peak. So man, now's the time to have that big ass all UK fight, Fury versus Josh. It's a shame that it has to play out the way it has to. But having said that, man, we do want to see Fury versus Usyk, because let's not forget the fact that this is the same man who Usyk outboxed in 2 fights, right? Usyk's got 2 wins over Joshua. Obviously, for Joshua, the best bet for a unified title fight is Fury winning, because they haven't fought yet. It's a big fight to make. Joshua's got a lot of momentum. It's just a wait time. We heard from Fury yesterday that this a rematch clause. So regardless of the outcome of the first fight, right? There's always going to be a rematch, so they will have to go at it twice. Joshua seems to be in his prime. Do we wait till then, right? I mean, the Bronze Bomber fight's not making sense, but we had another Call Me Anywhere victory, another hard-fought fight, and another Joseph Parker victory. Do we see that rematch while we wait? Do we risk getting that fight jeopardize the Usyk Joshua by putting some other fights in there, and you never know the outcome, right? Boxing, MMA, they're all unpredictable. So it's a combat sports is unpredictable, and we see that. I mean, would you have believed if anyone told you, hey, you're gonna see Ngannou flat on the mat, out cold with oxygen required? So yeah,
Man, not taking away from AJ, of course, I'm about to give him a lot of flowers, but yeah, I was a little bit more surprised that Ngannou didn't look as good as he did in the first fit. Obviously, for different reasons now we know. I did predict Ngannou, such as
yes,
the respect I have for him. But
yeah,
let me now talk about Joshua, because I'm so impressed with that. He is a stone cold killer. The way he just said, "Man, I'm getting you out of this ring.
yeah,
I'm knocking you out," and in the way
yeah,
he did it in round two, right, to not even let the fight go any longer. It was such a dominant performance, a domination I haven't seen, for so long at that
yeah,
level, like at that
yeah,
division.
yeah,
It's just, yeah, it is what it is. There's clear levels to the way both fighters can operate in this point. Joshua's got that experience, and that's at the very top. Then he's got the
yeah,
technical ability, and then he's got the
yes,
knockout power as well.
yeah,
But to put the baddest, one of the baddest men on the planet and the baddest man in the
yeah,
MMA game, to put him to sleep like that, was just it was a sight, really. And I don't often shout out when I'm watching like live sport, but man, I almost lost my voice. Like
yeah,
that's DJ. That's how much I screamed when
yeah.
when he put him flat on the mat. Right? How did you react to it?
Man, look, I'm not gonna lie, right? I'm not gonna lie. You know this, nothing to hide. I had a bit of a sleep in. I woke up just in time. Um, you know, thanks to
So did
your messages.
Ngannou. Ngannou had a sleep.
I mean, I came up and then maybe went to sleep. But hey, yeah, I woke up just on time. They were doing the ring walks. I was like, damn. But you know what? Regardless, it's going to be a hell of a main event. Let me get this pay per view. Got it, and I jumped on. Started watching it, expecting a 10, 12 rounds, spectacle. But man, for however long it lasted, I was in bed. I jumped out of bed. Man, that's how it was. I like a lot. I've still got energy for the rest of the day because of the adrenaline that rushed through my veins. Um, Man, it was like I said, for however short it lasted, it was action packed. And Ngannou was coming forward a bit too. There was that hook that he was teasing with. I thought, oh man, if he lands this, there is a possibility, because Joshua was dipping to go for the body, and I was like, oh, he could land that clean. Then might be a good night for Joshua, but man, then Joshua puts him on the canvas, and I was like, and when Ngannou got up, he was dazed, he was confused, and I feel partially from the shot, the impact, yes, but also I think from that reality check, I guess, of okay, this guy does hit hard, but I did not feel this against Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury did land a few clean shots on Ngannou as well, um, and I guess maybe doubt crept into him because he was clinching a little bit more after that. Then the second round came. I thought, okay, maybe we'll clinch a little bit more. Again, take it a little bit slower. I mean, we speak to the heart of Francis Ngannou as well. So, but man, yeah, Joshua came in, put him in the canvas again, Ngannou beats the 10 count, gets up, but after that, it was just a formality, right, of putting an end to that fight. Joshua comes in, hands down, no fear, just lands that clean, man. Like there was no defense, nothing. Ngannou was sort of out of it by then. Flush, clean, one of the cleanest right hands I've ever seen. I think Joshua knew that he was out even before uh, Ngannou hit the canvas, man. His legs buckled, very reminiscent. We've seen these memes on social media already, like very reminiscent of how Stipe went down, courtesy of Ngannou's power. Um, but it's the nature of the game. It's a brutal, brutal game. So Ngannou was on the receiving end of it. But hey, I do want to look before I get into this part of it. I do want to say, not just that, just everything about that performance was called. The lead up to it, you mentioned it, him saying, "I'm here to get this man out of here," which he did. The performance that followed, and then the post fight celebrations were very subdued, but that in itself resonated and a lot more than I reckon sort of the jumping up and jumping on the rope celebration. He was very stoic, lands that knockout, turns around, just gives a fist bump to his trainer, and just walks around like no emotions, nothing. And I felt like this is a man on a mission. Maybe it is true. This is Anthony Joshua 2.0, and I'm more excited than ever to see him fight against Fury. I know Wilder lost, but let's get Wilder in another fight, and maybe we see that again because it's still an exciting fight, right? But man, we've got to speak about Ngannou as well. What'll be very disappointing and discouraging to see is if people, some of these bandwagon fans, who jumped on after the Fury encounter, they jump on him and start hating on him, which is not. This man risked it all, gambled it all, left one of the biggest organizations to make a life for himself, make a name for himself, which he did. This could happen to anyone. If the same punch had landed on Joshua, same thing, man. Like good night, right? So you gotta respect the fact that he put himself at risk. He went into a sport that he is not familiar with, and not just went against a retired boxer or a up and coming boxer or an amateur. No, he went with the best in that division, and not any division. Man, we're talking about the heavyweight division, the best division, the premier division in any combat sports, heavyweight. And you're two fights in, and you're fighting Fury and Joshua. So you got to give that into account. Give the credit that's due. This man's made a lot of money, put his family, himself in a really good place, and the story still continues. I think that was very encouraging to see post-fight Joshua coming up and saying, "Hey, you still got a long way to go. Don't give up." And you could see, I mean, obviously, his mind probably was, all over the place, but he said, "Yeah, no, I'm planning to continue to box." And there's fights out there, man. Like I'd still watch. It's still a promising boxing career left for Ngannou. I like to see him against someone like a Derek Chisora. Some of these past opponents of Joshua, Otto Allen, Elanius. Let's see those fights as well. I think now maybe it's time for Ngannou to go back. Yep, now this is done. We had this debate. UFC world champion took the lineal heavyweight champion almost to the wire, arguably won. But now I think we've got a bit of a definite answer in terms of testing at the very top. Now let's build this pro boxing career. Let's go the right way. And I think there's plenty of talent, plenty of names that he can use in there to sort of come up to. He probably can have a rematch against Joshua eventually down the line. Joshua's still young. I know for Ngannou, age is not on his side, but again, it's the heavyweight division. So, man, it's not the end of the road. But I do have a question for you. Does this make Anthony Joshua the baddest man on earth?
As of this moment that we're recording and today, yeah.
Yep.
Like I said, mad respect to him. And I want to make this point too, DJ, and you're never really out of it. Right, Joshua has reached the lows of lows in his career, and to fight back to where he is right now is remarkable. And yeah, Ngannou can still have a great career ahead, and I think he's a winner already. $20 million reportedly from this fight. Like he's set up his family for life, and I like what you said. Fight some of these lesser names.
Build your career before.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's basically like a person who just learned to swim, and he went straight to the deep end, to fight. And then to your question,
with the sharks.
Yeah, AJ, he kind of lost some shine previously, but yeah, he's let the world know that I am, if not the baddest, one of the baddest men on the planet. So,
Yeah,
what do you think? And now this sets up that mega fight that we've always been wanting to see in the UK between
the elusive fight.
yeah, the two best UK heavyweight
Yeah,
boxers, ever.
yeah. I mean, we needed Turkle shake like about 5 years ago, man. When Joshua had the four belts and Fury came back, that was the time to make that fight. But still not too late. Yeah, man. Look, arguably, considering last year they fought for the baddest man title, Fury and Ngannou, um, and seeing what Joshua did to Ngannou, you got to go with him, right? Uh, Overall, across the entire world, I would still say across all sports, John Jones, man. John Jones' fight IQ, approach, because it's not just about getting in there and fighting. It's about how you approach it, how you negate certain threats. And I feel like there's no one who can beat John Jones in that. I still believe he's the baddest man on planet Earth. Is John Jones. But man, Joshua, and look, it kind of tells you what a fast moving sport this is, and how recency biased the fan base can be. Not too long ago, Joshua was getting a lot of hate for those Usyk fights, that Usyk post fight press conference, the Ruiz fight, and all of this. To now, arguably, especially today, being the peak of it, he's going to get a lot of new fans. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of MMA fans who are going to jump on this Joshua train, but also, the praise he's getting, the comparisons to Tyson Fury, and him not being able to get this job done to Joshua doing it. So it's just a fast moving sport. You're only as good as your last win. And I think a lot of fighters say that. And yeah, it is interesting, man. Like, look, two things I'm looking forward to. One, the continued journey of Anthony Joshua towards greatness, potentially with a showdown with the one Mr. Tyson Fury, who gave him a lot of props, man. At the end of that post fight, like they got his reaction, and he gave him a lot of props, which is good to see. And I'm also keen and will continue to closely follow Francis Ngannou's journey to his rise. I think we still got his MMA career. Let's not forget that MMA career is on hold with the PFL, and he's ready to. He's coming and fighting Renan, right? So yeah, in the PFL. So that's he's still got that. And maybe it's time to come and reset a little bit. MMA, go back to something you're used to, your bread and butter. Get some confidence back. Go back, build your boxing career now. Like I think he's got a lot of advisors around him, and I'm sure he'll get the right advice. But yeah, man. But overall, great event, man. Great event. Good core main. I know we haven't really delved into the core main, but we'll probably do a proper reaction later on. But it was a solid core main as well. Parker took the canvas a couple of times, but coming back, showing resilience and grit, and in true Joseph Parker fashion, stays till the end and gets the win. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, this was instant reaction, and we'll talk about it more. This has given a bit of juice to the heavyweight, more juice to the heavyweight division.
yeah,
Anthony Joshua, I think this is his biggest payday too. That makes it another win, 50 million
50 million. Yeah,
reportedly, right?
alone.
I mean, he took a risk with this, whether people were saying, he could only lose from the situation. Well, he's turned out a huge winner, right? He's used Ngannou to knock him out and be all over the pages around the world and getting paid handsomely while doing it. And then his name's well and truly now back in the top of the
Contention.
division. So
Yeah,
this is a quick react, DJ and CT. Smash that like button, subscribe, and we'll continue to talk about the boxing world, everyone. Thanks for listening.